Remember field trips and first dates? Generations have come to the Exploratorium to learn and play. Now we need your help, and every dollar you donate will be doubled. Sustain the wonder.
Hello, I'm Vivian. This is Storytime Science at the Exploratorium. This is the Energy and Motion episode. We're going to be reading 1 Flip, 2 Flip, 3 Flip, 4 by Crystel Patterson, and the illustrations are by Briana Young. 1 Flip, 2 Flip, 3 Flip, 4. This book was inspired by the Olympic gymnast Gabby Douglas. She competed in gymnastics and won a gold medal in 2012, both as an individual and as part of her gymnastics team. And she also went back in 2016 and competed in gymnastics. She was a wonderful athlete, and she inspired this story. It's been a long day. There is nothing to do. It's raining outside. What's Ruby to do? She has so much energy. She can't sit still. She wants to have fun. She needs a thrill. And so it begins. 1 flip, 2 flip, 3 flip, 4. From the sofa to the floor, flipping all around the house, landing as light as a mouse. She flips to the left. She flips to the right. She flips all around, and it's quite a sight. To her sister, who looks on and likes what she sees, Ruby's having so much fun, she doesn't notice the sun. A few hours later, the sun is here to stay. She really wants to go to the park to play. And so she goes. 1 flip, 2 flip, 3 flip, 4. She wants to flip more and more. Listening to the beat of a song, she can do this all day long. She flips to the left. She flips to the right. She flips with one hand, and it's quite a sight. To her mom, who looks on and likes what she sees. So Mom makes a decision. Gymnastics Ruby needs. A few months later, she attends her first class. Ruby is so ready to learn so much at last. And so she does. 1 flip, 2 flip, 3 flip, 4. She practiced more than ever before. Cartwheels, handstands, tucks, and pikes. She trained hard to get them right. She flips to the left. She flips to the right. She lands in a split, and it's quite a sight. To her coaches, who look on and like what they see. Ruby's really good. A champion she will be. A few years later, she's training with the best. She's gotten so much better, the Olympics is her quest. And so she goes. 1 flip, 2 flip, 3 flip, 4. Her talent we cannot ignore. Up against the best in the world, she has dreams of winning gold. She flips to the left, she flips to the right, she flies like an eagle, and it's quite a sight to the judges who look on and like what they see. Ruby's skills are unique. She's the winner, they agree. With her talent and drive, she knew it in her heart. Her dreams would come true. Now, what about you? Time to make a little go-car. I made 3 examples ahead of time, but we're also going to make one together. So here is one. Here is another one. And you can tell these both have empty toilet paper rolls as their middle part. Ooh, and here's a big old one that I used an empty paper towel tube. And this one's pretty interesting. I'll show you how I managed to solve a problem with this one. Whoops. And then we need a couple of wheels. All right, so I have my toilet paper roll, empty of course. And we need a couple of wheels. So you can either make them out of cardboard. I didn't bring any cardboard. You got to cut the cardboard. And for that, you might want a grown-up assistant. You know, grown-ups are really, really good as helpers. They don't have to be in charge, but they're really good as helpers or assistants. Or you can use a couple of CDs. I mean, you might have these around the house. The grown-ups in your house may have 1 or 2 of these. Don't just take them without asking, because they may have important information on them. But, you know, a lot of people still listen to their music in their stereos this way. I know I do. But sometimes you have some lying around the house that you don't need. And here are a couple of them. Ooh, they're also nice and shiny and rainbowy. Or I didn't have any paper plates. You can use paper plates. But when I made this one, I didn't have any paper plates at home. But I did have paper bowls. And you want to use a paper plate that is nice and sturdy. You know, the kind that if you go to a picnic and you plop the potato salad on it, it doesn't just suddenly fall apart. So you want a pretty sturdy one. I only had these bowls, so what I did was I cut them away. I'll go ahead and cut this one because it was pretty easy to cut. So that I had like a teeny tiny paper plate. Okay, so there we go. And if you are going to use a paper plate, we don't need the rim anymore. If you are going to use a paper plate, you need to poke a hole in the middle of it. And this is or if you're using a cardboard circle, this is another time where you want to use a grown-up assistant. So you can poke a hole into the middle, and you can just guess approximately where the middle is. You don't want it way off to the side somewhere. You want it in the middle, but it doesn't have to be absolutely millimeter perfect. You can use a pair of scissors. These are some sharp scissors. Or, you know, and you would have to poke it through there. This is why you want a grown-up to help you. Or a ballpoint pen works really well, too. So I have the ballpoint pen here, and I have the paper plate again. Have a grown-up do this. I am a grown-up, so I'm going to do it. And the ballpoint pen works pretty well. So I've got one hole punched. You're going to need 2 wheels. I'm not going to bother cutting another paper plate from this paper bowl, just to show you how it's done, all right, that you need a hole in the middle. I'm going to instead use 2 CDs as my wheels because they already have holes in the middle. So here's how we start. One side, and I'll show you from the example, from the CD example, one side has something that you're going to be using a rubber band. That's your motor. The rubber band is your motor. And it needs to be really, really secure so that it doesn't move at one end. So I am going to use a paper clip. Let's get it. I have a paper clip here. How handy. And so there's your paper clip. So I'm going to use that to hold the rubber band in place on the outside of one of the wheels. And in terms of rubber bands, you want, this is pretty much, these 2 are the perfect size, okay? You don't want a rubber band that's too small. This one is, I would say maybe 3.5 inches long. This orange one too, probably about 3 or 3.5 inches long. And also, they're a little bit wide. In other words, they're kind of sturdy. I don't know if you can see how wide they are. In other words, you don't want a wimpy little rubber band like this, all right? That might snap. That's not going to be really good. You also don't want one that's too short, because that's not going to be able to stretch enough. So we have our perfect size rubber band, and we have a paper clip, and I used packing tape on the edge to really secure it, but you don't have to use packing tape. If you only have Scotch tape, that will work pretty well too. All right, so we take one of our wheels, and I want this to be the outside because I like the rainbowy part to be outside. And we're just going to put that right through there so you can see it's, whoops. All right, so there it is. And we're going to hold on to it with our finger, and I am going to slide that paper clip right here so that it does not go through the hole. Whoops, let me hold on to it just perfectly. And can you kind of see there how it's not, that paper clip is wider than the hole in the CD. So let me go ahead and get a bunch of pieces of Scotch tape ready to go. I could have done this ahead of time, but I wasn't thinking. That's okay. All right, and I am going to now Scotch tape this a whole bunch in place. All right, so Scotch tape it there. And I'll show you in a second. And Scotch tape it there. I'm going to Scotch tape it like 6 times. So that's Scotch tape. I'm going to Scotch tape across here and across there. I really, really want to hold that paper clip that is holding one end of the rubber band in place because it can't move. This is why I used packing tape, which was really, really sturdy. I'll show you what packing tape is. Oh, I have some of it right here. And it's always hard to start it up again, finding the end of the packing tape and making sure that it doesn't. I'll actually do a piece of packing tape here. Oh, it split a little bit, but it's super sticky. So I'll put that on there as well, all right, a piece of packing tape, just to make sure it's super sturdy. You can see how much I taped that. All right, now we're going to take our toilet paper roll, and we're going to put it over the rubber band and reach in and pull that rubber band through, okay? So here we have that rubber band pulled through. And now we're going to take another CD, put that through the hole. All right, so there it is. And now we need a washer. This is a metal washer, okay? You might have these around the house. They have them at the hardware store. Here's a bigger washer. But guess what? You don't need to use a washer. You can use a Lifesaver. And this is going to be your washer. And this is a peppermint Lifesaver. You don't want to use the fruit-flavored Lifesavers. You have to use these white ones. And you also don't want to use the side that is printed with the word Lifesaver, because that's not smooth enough. The other side is smooth enough to be used as a washer. I think this is what they call a hack. This is like such a great hack to use a Lifesaver as a washer. So you want the smooth side facing out. And once again, I'm going to hold it as steady as I can. This might be a good, if only I had a grown-up as an assistant. I'm going to try and pull it through. Okay. All right. I think I almost got it. I got it. Oh, great to have long fingernails. All right, so I'm pulling it through, and there we have the Lifesaver as a washer. Now we need the rudder, also known as the twister, and I have an old Sanrio pencil that's not sharpened. You can use a chopstick. You can use a pencil. What else have I used? I think I just used chopsticks and pencils, but anything that's a stick like this. And this goes through the rubber band loop, and that kind of holds it in place. And ooh. So you see, even though I've made these a lot, it's good to see that I'm not perfect when I'm doing it. I still have a little bit of an issue. So there you go. There you have the rubber band that is looped over the pencil, the Lifesaver as the washer, and here we have our little car. Okay, now I want to talk about two different kinds of energy. There is potential energy, and there is kinetic energy. I'm going to twist the rubber band that's inside of here, that's the motor. I'm going to twist it by just turning the pencil around and around and around and around. The rubber band is all twisted inside of this toilet paper tube, but it wants to go back to its original shape. It wants to untwist itself. So it has potential energy. I put energy into twisting the rubber band, and it's just waiting. When I let go of this, it's going to have kinetic energy, and kinetic energy means energy that's gonna move. All right, so, well, we've got the table here. Let's see. We got the wheels ready to go. There's not a lot of room to make it go right here. Let's try and give you another view. Let's see if we can go sideways. I'm gonna move the CD over and move the packing tape over. All right, let's see if we can. All right, you ready to go? Woo! All right, let me show you a couple of other of these. Go ahead and unwind. You can watch it unwind. That's pretty exciting too. All right, that's your potential energy into kinetic energy. Let's try this one that I did with the little bottoms of the paper bowls here. This one's kind of cute. I couldn't use the whole bowl because it was too wobbly because the bowl is such an odd shape. So let's see if I can do this one. Oh, that's all right. Whoa, that one's really fast. And we'll let that one wind out. And now let me show you, I was inspired at home. I used a chopstick as the rudder for this one. And this is the one that has two cardboard wheels that I cut out of cardboard. It's kind of hard to cut cardboard. And I had an empty paper towel tube, and I thought, let me try that. But I couldn't reach my hand in to grab the rubber band. And the reason I was inspired was not just because of the paper towel tube, but because I had these really long rubber bands, right? Look at how long that rubber band is. So I attached it at one end, but I couldn't get my hand in to pull it through. So I went, well, I know I have a wire coat hanger at home, right? It's covered with paper, but this is a wire coat hanger. And I bent that wire coat hanger so it would fit inside the tube, and that little hook at the end was able to, let's see the hook a little bit better. That little hook at the end was able to go into the paper towel tube, grab the end of the rubber band, and pull it all the way through. And I thought, well, I am so clever. I made a tool. So in order to make the little car that I wanted, let's try winding this one up. And because this has such a long rubber band, I tried this at home, and it went all the way along my very, very long hallway before it stopped at my front door. Yeah. I don't have enough tabletop to really have it go here. But try this at home. It's not that hard to make, and it's very cool. Potential energy when you're winding that rubber band, and it's just waiting to go back into its regular shape, and then it turns into kinetic energy as it unwinds back into its regular shape and moves along the floor. Poetry Corner. This one's kind of special. I wrote my own poem for this. And I used a particular rhythm to write this poem because I'm not so confident when I'm writing, and I like to be able to count things out. That helps me. And I used as my inspiration this man who wrote plays 400 years ago. His name is William Shakespeare, and he wrote plays in English, and his plays are so good that people today still perform them. People still get dressed up in costumes and perform his plays. He wrote in a particular kind of a rhythm, a pattern, that's called iambic pentameter. Don't worry if that's too complicated a phrase. I'm going to tell you what iambic pentameter sounds like. Listen for the fives. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. A 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. That's the rhythm that I used to write my poem. I made my poem rhyme, even though William Shakespeare did not make his plays rhyme. Okay, here we go in iambic pentameter. I love to cartwheel round the house all day and spin and twirl and leap and bounce and hop. I'm careful not to get in people's way. I'll slow down sometimes, but I'll never stop. I eat nutritious food at every meal so that I have a lot of energy. Instead of sugar, I will keep it real with whole grains, apples, even celery. I do my homework, always wait my turn. I always clean my room, most of the time. I help with chores. I read good books and learn. I write my poems, try to make them rhyme. But I still leap and run and jump, it's true. Outside in sunshine, inside when it rains. I act with kindness in all that I do to exercise my body and my brain.